Hello. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Jen.
Happy New Year, Anne.
Welcome to the first episode of 2025 of BrandCraft. I'm your host, Anh Nguyen, and joining me today is my very good friend, as my guest co-host, Jen Texada.
Hey, everybody. It's so great to be here. Thanks, Anne, for
It's so
inviting
great to have you here. I'm doing something a little bit different with the show this year. I'm going to have a guest co host for each episode just to get another person's perspective and insights and experience. And Jen, I couldn't have thought of a better person to start the year off with and the first person to be my guest co host.
I
So
really
thank
appreciate
you.
it. I really appreciate it. And I love you and I love this show. So I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. And just to remind everyone, I started the show or I launched the show last year because and I'm sure you had the same experience, Jen, we'd go to conferences where I'd hear these large global brands have these great successful marketing campaigns, right? Like I'm talking global brands with an acronym.
Yeah, it's easy to do. It's easier to do it with millions.
Yes. And so I would ask questions like, well, how would my client or a smaller marketing team or someone without those resources do the same thing? And they couldn't really ever answer me. And I know that there are more of us out there than the larger global brands who are working with small but really mighty marketing teams who are accomplishing a lot with very limited resources, often financially and in human resources. And there are many of us who are doing it solo, like today's guest, our friend Traci Shannon, who has been really working on her personal brand this past year. And I can't wait to share what she's been doing and how she's been really making a ripple out there in the world, both with
Really
her
cool.
brand, yeah, and her marketing. So without further ado, let's bring Miss Star Traci on.
Hey guys.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
How
Okay,
are
can you guys
you?
come everywhere with me and give me that introduction because that felt awesome.
How are you? And you know what? I did forget something, and I'm so sorry. Jen, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to everyone for those who may not know you.
Oh, yeah.
You are a star in your own right, too, my friend.
Yeah, I guess. So I'm Jennifer Texada. I've been a marketer for about 25 years. I've worked with big brands, small brands, tech brands. Fun fact, I was the first social media manager at MD Anderson Cancer Center. So I've done everything
Oh,
from social
wow.
media to email marketing to brand strategy. And if you stay tuned, I am launching a new venture this year, so I will be available for projects very soon.
Okay.
There
Okay.
you go. You're back.
That's I seem to be having some tech issues. Does everybody hear me okay? All
Yeah,
right.
you're
This
back.
is what happens during a live. So
Right.
I'm so excited to have you again here and really kind of introduce you to the world. Jen is definitely looking for her next adventure. And
Yeah.
so that was another reason why I wanted you to be my first guest co-host as well, because sister, I'm putting your face out there. I'm driving
I
you.
know.
And
I'm
I am more
coming
than
out.
happy to be a part of that because Jen is incredible. And so I think
Absolutely.
it's extra special to be here on today for that reason.
I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you. You're
So let's
right. You're
dive
right. You guys are awesome. I need to carry you around with me everywhere.
in. It's women supporting women,
Yeah,
man. I mean,
absolutely.
that's how we roll, and that's how 2025, the vibe for 2025 is going to be, right?
Yeah.
We're out here supporting each other. So let's dive into this conversation about our star, Traci Shannon. I know you had dreams of being a star on Broadway.
Mhm.
You went to New York and share a little bit what that journey looked like and how it evolved into what you're doing now.
I will gladly do that. And that's how I became Star Tracy, which was that yes, I had plans on being an actress my whole life growing up. That was the dream. If you had asked me at 3, 13, 23, that was the plan. And I went to a great acting school and I was pursuing acting in New York. And then 9/11 happened and my husband joined the military and we changed paths. And proceeded on a different path. And I found myself a stay-at-home mom with 2 children. And I love those children very much, but I was going through a whole lot. We were in a new city. I didn't know anyone. I was struggling with some health issues. And literally, there was a night where I had a toddler on one arm and a kindergartner on the other because they couldn't sleep anywhere but there. And I was really going through just depression, and I was just looking up and just like, how did this happen? This was not the plan. This was not the dream. And fast forward a lot of steps, but I ended up blogging. I saw a movie about blogging, and I started blogging just kind of as a journal, a diary. I didn't expect anyone to read it, but kind of got caught up in that mommy blogging world where we started talking to each other, and I found a community. And it was just at that time that world exploded. So I was able to find some opportunities, which I feel so blessed for. And it evolved into content creation. It started moving more to the platforms. This was all before Instagram, but then Instagram did come out, and I was able to make a career of sorts, a part-time career on the platforms, and was able to find mostly an outlet, an artistic outlet, which is what I had so needed. And I say to people that the blogging really saved my life because it gave me a life in a sense. I was very lost and I needed a way to give a voice. Acting had been so fulfilling to me and I didn't have that. And here I was able to have a place to to give that voice. And it started with writing and then pictures and things. And this blogging involved into these other platforms. I was able to make a statement for myself, and it was fortunate that it was able to create some income for me. And we didn't call it brand then. At the beginning it was just talking. And then I've never liked the name influencer. I'm just going to say that right now, but I connect with the words content creator. And so my first brand, I would say, is Star Tracy. And that's what I connected with first, because I told people to shine brightly, find ways in their lives that find what's beautiful and make that shine. So that's, I think, how it all started.
I think that is the journey a lot of people go on, but I know that a lot of people get a little timid, a little scared about like really putting themselves out there in that way. So, like if you were talking to your younger self or you were talking to a young person out there who was in the position that you were then, what advice could you really give them to really start creating content and show up as their authentic self like you did?
Uh, that's exactly it. We need more people showing up as their authentic self. I hit a wall at a point when the whole aesthetic came up. And you can tell by my tone, I have feelings about the whole aesthetic.
Not real.
Because I'm an OG with the bloggers, and this was before Facebook, everything. The reason how we connected is we literally clicked the person's name on the comment and went to their blog, and we had to read their blog to comment. It was very real.
What
And
do you
that's
mean we
how
had to do work and read? What?
yeah, can you imagine? It was very real, and that's why I say it saved my life. I was in a very dark place. I thought I was the only one that was struggling in this deep way. And so I I see the trend going back to authenticity.
Mhm.
I see people, it started with the behind the scenes. And I think people are finally just wanting the behind the scenes. I am sorry. if you have 3 toddlers, they don't live in white and beige.
They
They
don't.
don't.
They're allergic to it.
I'm a 54-year-old woman and I don't live in white and beige.
Exactly. If you have a white and beige living room, then there's a gate. There's a gate, okay? It's just, and it makes the rest of us feel like we're failing. And you can put all the quotes you want about that's their, Cecil DeMille moment, and you're living your, behind the scenes, or whatever the quote is. I'm not giving it justice, but if it's not being shown, you still feel bad about it. Put your real stuff there. I still struggle with it, and I'm in it, and I've been really trying to put up non-filtered
Mm-hmm.
pictures. I won't say I don't put on makeup. Sometimes I don't still, and I'll say something like about no makeup, no filter. But I usually will still put on makeup. I'm not completely vanity free, but I do believe in at least setting up the fact that I am 53, and I want women to know what 53 looks
Mm-hmm.
okay, and not be ashamed of what 53 looks like. I don't look 23, and I'm good with that. So if you are starting out at whatever age,
Mm-hmm.
and you can, by the way, middle-aged women, we need your voices too. So whatever age you are thinking about it, do come in authentically. You don't have to share anything you don't want to share, but we don't want you to over clip, filter, fix it. We want to hear who you are, because we need, the algorithms need it, please, because I swear, if I get another ad telling me how to fix my neck,
My neck is what it
But,
is.
Traci, we talk about this buzzword of authentic, being authentic, and I, as a marketer, have a love-hate relationship with this word, because it does sound like such a buzzword, and you hear people pick up on it and go, "Oh, you got to be authentic." But really, it's about being real and being genuine. And what you're sharing here is that you've this unique approach of yours to your personal branding has helped you to not only grow Star Tracy, but now you're segueing it into an even more purpose-driven brand. And what is that all about?
yes, thank you. So I've been on a long journey, because the woman that was lying in the bed was not in a good place, and as obviously, and a lot of self-discovery, a lot of dealing with insecurities over the years, and part of it is just looking at myself. I mean, in this business, you look at yourself a lot, and part of that was learning how much I had. Just honest to goodness, learning I had a really good life that I was not looking at and appreciating. And also having to face the fact that I had not been appreciating myself. And so I found that I wanted a larger purpose in what I was doing, and I wanted to share what I had learned. And I also realized that just as a society, we weren't appreciating everybody, just the every person. I don't like saying the little guy or the normal person or whatever, because those are still diminutive. Just the every person, because I believe every person has a purpose. If you're here for a reason. I fundamentally believe that as part of who I am. And all the little things we do in this world that keep the world going. If you look at the pandemic, when we pulled up and the McDonald's was closed, you noticed, right?
Yeah.
When the drugstores were closed, all those things, these jobs that we don't think about every day, when the pandemic happened, you noticed, right? Those people, um, all of those people are here, and they do lots of things that make our lives better. And all of those thoughts started building in my head. And then watching how the social media that I worked on every day that had brought so much joy and good and community in my life, and watching it starting to turn so negative. And so, when you just have one of those moments where everything just goes boing, if it was a cartoon, there'd be the light bulb or whatever. I had that moment. I did. And a thought just came to me. It's so just in complete sentences, which was, if we all threw a pebble of positivity into the sea, we could turn the tide on negativity. It just rolled into my head as if, I had written it down and practiced it. It happened, and I could see it. And I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. And I started thinking about when I was a kid, and I used to watch the MDA telethon when Jerry Lewis was the host. And we weren't rich people. I mean, we weren't poor. I don't want to overstate it. We were just middle class people. And, we could send like $50. And I would wait till they would run the band at the bottom with our name. And I'd see the Shannon family run along the bottom. And then the next time that Jerry Lewis would announce, and it would be, 50,000 or 100,000 or something. And I would cry because my $50 made that turn, because that was the collective, right? Like
Mhm.
and that was how the pebbles in the sea felt for me. That's what I wanted to do, is that when we do an act of good, it starts ripples of good that they don't just go out, they're exponential. Think about how when the rock goes in, they don't just go further out, they grow, they're bigger.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's what it is. That's what my purpose is now, is to share that. Is that when we can do something that improves a life, it isn't just that it makes that moment better, that person better, it makes the world better. But more so, it starts with us. That was my journey, was when I started taking steps to improve my life, and I got better and I got happier. I was making the world better. I had spent so many years trying to figure out how to save the world and do all of these things. But it wasn't until I started figuring out how to be happy that I was doing those things. And
Yeah.
in some ways, it was at home, making my children's lives better. We've all heard about that. But it was in the way that I was touching other people's lives. When I'm happy, other people around me are happy. They're going to go and be nicer to other people without even trying. That's how it works. When you're nicer to a cashier, they're going to interact nicer with the next people without even trying.
Yeah.
It's just catching. And
It's that ripple effect, as you mentioned.
exactly,
It's the pebble
exactly.
of whether it's kindness or finding the joy in an everyday moment, and it creates this ripple effect. Jen, I'd love to hear your thoughts about what this movement essentially is.
Yeah, I really kind of wanted to ask the next question. The marketer in me goes, okay, that's really cool and it's a meaningful sentiment. But then how do you then take that, or how did you take that idea and then turn it into the movement that you're creating now? Like, what was the next step in that journey from, oh my God, this is the answer I've been looking for, to now I need to spread this message?
No,
What
that
was that
was the hard
transition?
part. That was the
Yeah,
hard
right. It always is.
because, I don't wanna sound too woo, but it felt like a burning bush moment. It was a very
Yeah.
deep felt moment, and I'm like, and for a while, I didn't wanna make it be a money thing, right? Like, I
Mhm.
could understand Star Tracy, that, like, made sense. I knew how to market that, but, I spoke with someone that I held in great esteem, and that they have a very successful brand. And they gave me two really good bits of advice. First, they said, if you really want to be able to reach the most people, then you have to find a way
Yeah.
to allow yourself to be able to stop doing other things and put yourself fully in it. And that is that's worthwhile. So first off, you have to stop the limiting belief that there is nothing wrong with wanting to be invested in to share this message. So I'm still working on that. I'm not going to lie, but that was very important to me that they shared that. And the second thing is they said, be thoughtful, find ways to share the message and to choose products that share the message. And so that's what I've done.
Okay.
So I have created products that am
Merch, yay!
merch, but I which I have trouble with at work because I always think of my kids with their YouTubers. So, but for example, I am wearing a shirt right now. I always do it wrong because I'm looking at myself. This is I have unisex shirts, and then I do have some cute female cut, by the way, but I wanted to wear the unisex because this one says cast a pebble on the front. And then on the back, it'll be hard to show you guys, but it is on. It actually has the message that I just shared with you, that if we all threw a pebble of positivity. So my idea is that it allows the message to be seen by more people. So I chose products like that, candles, journals. That's the concept, is that it is more than just to sell for money. It's passing the message.
Having that message and keeping it top of mind at
Yeah,
home. But I think
make
even like the merch and the t-shirts and things, I find that those start really great conversations
they
out in
do.
the world. So
Exactly,
I
and
think
I'm
it's a
going
great
to have literal pebbles. Those are coming out
Oh.
soon that
I
you
love it.
can cast. I'm
Oh.
hoping that it will not only start conversations, but literally get people to move, to pass the pebble,
Mhm.
or cast the pebble is the
Mhm.
word I want, because you cast a pebble.
Cast a pebble.
That
Yeah.
is my goal, because I really do want this to be something so far beyond me. I want to be speaking and doing all of that, but it's not at the heart about me. It's really about wanting to change the temperature of social media, because it's, like I said, I really believe, I don't, when I say save my life, I feel like that puts other thoughts in people's mind than what I'm trying to say. So I like to say it gave me a life, because it gave me that outlet that I didn't have, that so turned around how I felt about myself. It showed me
Mhm.
so many things. So I know the possibility of good that it can do. And I know the possibility, I just truly believe that positivity is dozens of times more powerful than negativity, but it's just negativity is louder.
It can be, and I'm glad that you brought that point up. That you found that social media, there was a good side to it, right? There was a positive side to it, and it helped you find a life, and especially during that time when we were all um, quarantined during the pandemic, we had to have a virtual outlet for connection, whether it was speaking to our friends on Zoom or via social media. And so I'm really glad that you highlighted that there is a positive side to social media, because there is so much negative thoughts, comments, opinions, things on social media. That's all it seems like there is. And I'm glad Jen asked you about monetizing this, because when we think about a purpose behind our brand, it feels almost dirty, right? To like make money from it, because you want it to be so pure and there was a purpose. But we got to pay our bills. And so, there, don't be afraid to have some kind of source of revenue behind this brand. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because I'm sure there are many others out there who may have an idea or concept or this great movement that they want to be part of their personal brand and feel like, well, how do I do this and make money, or should I? Is it right? And so I'm glad that you mentioned that. What other ways for your brand, for Be the Pebble, are you looking at to help not only increase awareness, but eventually, make some revenue? I know you mentioned speaking. Is that a goal for this year? And what does that look like?
Yes, my goal is to be a paid speaker this year. And I am working to make connections with that. I will be a part of a published book this year. We'll have a chapter and a published book. And my goal is to have another solo book published this year. And also, I would really love to have the Pebble be able to be sponsored, because I feel like then I would have like a control over who is behind it, as opposed to just random ads showing up. You can do like partner programs and such, but then you don't necessarily have control over what ad
Sure.
randomly shows
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do that. I just, I'm thinking on that with the Pebble as opposed to my other videos. I'm just trying to be very conscious when it comes to the Pebble videos.
You're being very intentional about
I
it.
am, specifically with the Pebble, yeah.
Right. Because we want to make sure that ads are not, they do align with what your brand is and your mission and your purpose is, because it would go against everything
I
I think.
really don't want like a lose your belly fat ad coming up on,
Yeah, no.
it's not aligned, right?
Exactly. Jen, I know you're working on your personal brand,
Yeah.
really amplifying it this year as well. So I'd love to hear some, thoughts from you on what that looks like for you, and how this ties in with our conversation today.
Yeah, no, this is really Tracy's always been super inspiring to me. But the thing you said about needing to make sure that you not only monetize but stay kind of aware of who you are and what you represent really resonates with me as I'm starting to restructure, rebuild my brand, and build an organization around that. One of the things that I'm really like challenging myself with is doing that internal work to understand who I am, what my skills are, what I've done in the past, and how that helps me to show up kind of as an authentic version of myself, right? Like who are you, and what do you bring to the table? And you really have to know that before you step out the door and start offering it to things. And I know, I'm sure that you have kind of done that work too, like that internal work, figuring out who you are and what all any of this means to you. Because when you're building something for yourself from scratch, it's different from working for a company or
Yeah.
doing
Absolutely.
it for somebody else. It really has to be meaningful to
And it's
you.
hard to say no
Yeah,
too,
yeah. Oh,
especially
that's a
when
good
you're
point.
only working for yourself,
Yeah,
right? And learning when it's like, okay, they're not offering enough for me. Even if it's money, and or it's just not right anymore for you. You're just like, that is not
mhm,
the brand I want to be associated with, or any of that. It's hard because you do have bills, and you don't just get paid at the end of the week because you showed up. It's hard work, and that's the cost of being a solopreneur.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Because at what point do you say, okay, I need work, but hey, does this really align with what I'm
is this
trying
who I
to do?
am? But you have to know who you are in order
And
to
yes, you
determine
absolutely have.
whether it aligns with you or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to Cami Hoysa, because all three of us I know love Cami, because I have been doing that work too, Jen, in the
Yeah.
last few months, and it's thankfully through her group, Smart Social Mastery. I was like, let me make sure I say it right, because I always use the acronyms for it, SSM, to really define my own personal brand and refine it so that I can present myself this year and going forward what I want to do for my business, and for my personal brand. And so, if you guys have not heard about it, check it out. Follow Cami, find out. She'll be doing another, I think, session soon. It's been wonderful being in that group and doing that work to really get to know my own brand better. And I can't say enough wonderful things about it. And as marketers, we always look at how do you want to measure success for yourself? Is it amplifying your brand this year, more awareness of Be the Pebble? Or is it, you mentioned, sponsors? What does that measurable data look like? And so, how can other personal brands really think about what success looks like for them?
I think for me this year, because it is more than me, definitely, I think impressions and being seen, and being heard is the most important measurable metric for me. Uh, I'm growing a new Instagram and new Facebook under Be the Pebble that's separate from Star Tracy. So that, obviously you want people to follow, but with the way the algorithms work over and Meta these days, and who knows how that's going to go the next year, if people are seeing it, I will feel happy. I would love to be able to get like 200 people on the broadcast channel over there that are really engaged and wanting to hear the message. I would feel like that would be a huge win if I could get that, because I'd feel like they were really hearing the message and growing from that. The YouTube channel for me probably is the most important growth metric for the show. And I have a little over 500 there. I would love to double that and cross that all important 1,000 line, which I feel like is doable. Uh, but it all of it is hard work. People think that a life in influencer marketing is so easy. They
It's so
every
glamorous. You just show
Yeah.
up and meet
Read
everybody.
all in the
has an
background,
account. They
behind the
think if I
scenes.
just had the time, I could blow
Yeah.
this up. And they just have no idea what we do, just how much is involved. And so those would be my greatest metrics, what I'd love to reach. But most importantly for me is that I just stay consistent,
Mhm.
and I'm able to share valuable messages with those who do care and that they're engaged with me. So even if I don't reach those numbers, but I feel like people are engaging with it, I will feel successful for myself.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because so often people look at a follower number and it's so important. Well, if you have a very small percentage of your community who engages with you, that's still not successful. I'd rather have, half of my community, very small community, be engaged with me, just like you said.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned your YouTube channel. It is not called Be the Pebble, correct? It's Star Tracy.
Yeah, it is. It is Star Tracy. I did not want to start a YouTube channel from scratch. There is a show called The Pebble on my Star Tracy YouTube channel, and there are other great shows there. You're welcome to tune into all of them. I would love that, but the show that we're talking about is The Pebble, and the hashtag is Be the Pebble, because we talk about on The Pebble what it is when people are being the pebble, but it's about what the pebble is, and that's you. You are the pebble because you're the one that's making the difference.
But they can still learn more about you at your website, starmyuniverse.com.
Absolutely. That's the best place to start for anything, because I am a multidimensional person. There's a lot going on there. As you can see, there's a lot going on here.
Right.
Jen, you were about to say something, and I think
No,
I
I was just saying it's great. I love it. It's so exciting, and I'm so glad that you've kind of found your purpose and are building it out and bringing it out to the world. It's really great.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate the chance to talk about it because I feel like there are other people like myself who are just looking for that tipping point. They're
Mhm.
close and
Yeah.
they just need to know what that next step is. And then it's going to blow open for them. Because that's what I felt like, is that I had people who, including Cami, by the way,
Yeah.
who just helped me open up a door. And then it was like, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just need that little push or that little inspiration
Yeah.
sometimes. So, no, thank you so much for being on the show today and sharing your journey and your story. I know it's inspiring to others. You inspire Jen and
It's
and
for me.
yeah, it will be inspiring to others to know that, especially those who are, as you said, plugging along, just grinding away, working on your personal brand and going, when am I going to see the success, or what does that success look like for them? I hope it helps them to rethink some of that as well. And so thank you so much. And I'm so excited to say that I've been a guest on The Pebble. So check out my episode on her YouTube channel at Star Tracy. We talk about, oh gosh, my family's refugee journey and resilience, and
It's a
all the
really good,
things that,
touching episode. It
yeah,
really is.
Oh,
all the things that have nothing to do with marketing, the other side of me. And so I love it. So I appreciated the opportunity to do so. And hopefully we'll see Jen on The Pebble soon.
come on. Let me know.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm excited for this year, bringing some great new guests to the forefront and featuring how you can be successful as a small but mighty marketing team, even if that marketing team is just one person, as we've shared today with Traci Shannon. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, please definitely submit your guest information. The link is up there on the screen. I'll be sure to put it in the comments as well. I'm so excited again to have had you as the first guest for 2025. What a great way to kick off the year, with an inspiring, brilliant, bright, shiny
This
story
is
for
the way
the
to
bright,
start.
shiny new year, right?
Thank you.
Everyone, have a great rest of your day. Tune in to my LinkedIn as well as the Amplified Marketing Facebook page for future episode information. And thank you to my guest co host today, Jen Tejada. I know we'll
Yay.
see you again, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll be back. Just
Okay,
you know
good.
where to find me.
I do. I'll track you down, sister. Bye, everyone.